Let us look deep into the technology of war.
Today is 11th May 2025. Pakistan has just breached ceasefire agreement initiated by President Donald Trump, US. Today's video is all about this skirmish, skirmish. Skirmish. This is not a full-blown war. Neither of the countries has declared war. Therefore, it is not a formal war. What is happening at this moment is actually throwing stones at your neighbors. Whenever both the neighbors are daggers drawn to each other, but they know a full blown fight can cause severe casualties, then they simply pelt stones at each other. It is somewhat like this in case of these two countries. Each one of them is throwing drones, sometimes missiles. Now, a few words on this skirmish. If you take a look at the history of the war, you would notice that wars happen to be more brutish, cruel, mass invasive, and common people suffered quite a lot. Since the beginning of civilizations, it is seen that almost all the people were involved into war, and war was fought to grab the land, because in those days land was the only resource through which you can make yourself rich. Your food security would come from land. So this land was the main capital of prosperity in those days. Then came machines, electric energy, mechanical energy. No longer land remained valuable. Instead, machines and factories came to take the part. Feudal system broke down. Kings no more was relevant. As a result, money started flowing into from the pocket of kings and feudal lords, the pocket of the factory owners. We call them upstarts. Very common man, very ordinary people would become suddenly very rich by setting up a factory. By taking help of the electric energy and the mechanical energy, they would convert what 50 people, 500 people would do in a day in a few minutes with the help of machines. And things became cheap. Number one, things became cheap. Number two, mass production happened. As a result, it reached many people. This gave rise to market. Now, this is the thing that I am going to talk at last, market. Now, the whole world is market. What do you call as market? It is the concentration of people, it is the density of population at any place that provide you the opportunity to sell your things very much. So, market came to play a paramount importance in the economy going forward, because this market, whosoever could capture the largest share would become rich. Now the whole world is slowly tilting from land into the grabbing of market. That's why India became so powerful as far as the economy of England was concerned. I'm talking about time around 150 years ago. So market, humanity became very much important. So England became prosperous by selling their wares, goods at a cheaper price among the Indian people. Now, after 150 years, modern day war is not on market alone. It is not on grabbing the economy alone. Now it is on data. How much data you can grab, and based on data, you make your researches and make use of the artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, etc., to transform it into your policy, through which you will be able to grab as much attention as possible. So attention economy is today's economy. In this digital world, first economic principle is attention economy. How much attention can you grab of common people? As much attention as you can grab, as much market share you are going to grab. And both of them are possible only if you have sufficient data in your hand. Now this data collection is the real fight. Now in the collection process of data, two countries are top. One is US, they have Google. The moment you enter into Google, the moment you enter into Microsoft, all your data is getting transferred into their hand, and they come to know about your preferences, your age, your gender, every details of yourself. In the similar manner, China has gone a few steps further. They have installed data collection chips into their very inexpensive materials. For instance, the mobile phone, for instance, the small things such as the light source or the other things that you buy on the form of in the form of electronic gadgets. So these are fitted with chips which are communicating with the Chinese mainframe to transfer data. This data is of paramount importance in today's world. Entire fight is going on not to grab the land, not to grab the market share, rather to have access to enormous data. Where is the concentration of people? Where do most of the people live in the world? Of course, in the African and Asian region, because it is the powerhouse or main area of evolution. So human concentration is maximum. You have to sell anything here, and due to massive sale, you will become very rich. In order to sell these things, you must grab their attention, and in order to grab their attention, both China and US, the two superpowers, are trying hard, in fact fighting each other to become rich. Today's war is not about grabbing the land, beating people, showing cruelty. Today's world is to keep someone dominated economically. You will not be able to come up economically as a superpower, and that is the effort both the countries are trying to impose on India. Now India is slowly coming up as superpower because of its merit. Number one, it produces human capacity, human resource, which are very, very fine. Now if this human resource, which happen to be erstwhile utilized by US or other European countries, prefer to stay put in India, begin their own startup, who knows, one day Google will come up from here, one day Microsoft will come up from here, one day ChatGPT will come up from here, maybe DeepSeek, Grok, or any Perplexity will come up from here. I am talking about the tech giants. As of today, India does not produce any tech company. India is simply utilizing the tech company. India is a consumer of tech. So India is not getting benefited. India is making US or China benefited by using ChatGPT and all. When India will produce its own tech company, and so many startups are already there, that they would eventually come up one day with such a tech company which will be solely controlled by India government, by Indian company, and as a result, the data collection will immediately stop. Data collection is somewhat like a petrol. If you do not keep putting it into your car, then you will fall behind, which means you will not be able to sell your things. Maybe for a couple of years it will go, then you will get disconnected from the data that the people are exercising in the form of their preferences, because we people every moment keep changing our mind. So data is constantly collecting what kind of change you are having. For instance, on YouTube you are seeing a movie which is a romance movie. After 6 months it has transformed itself into action movie. Maybe you have moved into action. So data collection keeps on changing. If data collection stops and a tech giant comes up which is controlled by India government, that will be the day I'm looking forward to, because that day entire control will be on Indian people. So Indian people will rotate the money among themselves and eventually will become more and more powerful. This is the reason why China and US are pumping money to destabilize this country in the form of mosquitoes. We have got all kinds of termites and mosquitoes around India. They are being injected with money. Of course, money is there. They are pumping money among the infidel politicians inside the country, infidel media houses. They're pumping money, they're giving them money and saying that make people confused. Today things come up very easily because everybody has got a camera in the mobile phone. So anything that you do will quickly become viral. In order to stop that, what do other people do? The opponent confuses it in the form of their own fake news, fake presentation. Suppose you have taken bribe. Maybe 30 years ago it would have been silent, it would have remained under the carpet because there was no camera. Now you have got camera in electronic devices, you will quickly float it into the OTT platform. This gentleman has taken bribe from me. But if I produce another fake video saying that this gentleman also had beaten me very much and therefore I asked for compensation, that is the money he was transferring me, it was not a bribe. So in this way I can confuse it. So every opponent is trying very, very hard to confuse the market, to stop the real picture from coming to the public eyes. As a result, people, you will notice in India, people are confused. They do not know whom to support, who is saying what and all that. This is called information smog. Now crores and billions of dollars is being played. How? They are pumping money into the politicians' pocket to say otherwise, into the pocket of the media to say otherwise, into the pockets of the smaller countries around India, so that they send their terrorists, so that they send their fundamentalists, religious fundamentalists, so that they indoctrinate little kids into their temples and turn them into assassins and suicide bombers. Everything is being done to keep the country occupied, keep the country so much occupied militarily that their expenses will go into this. They won't get the chance to divert their complete focus into constructive activities such as making itself independent digitally and economically. That's why war was fought long ago for land. 150 years ago it was fought for market share. Now it is fought for data, which brings us to the conclusion that today there is not going to be any full-blown war. Take it for granted, Third World War, which is actually imaginary replica of Second World War. In First and Second World War, 50% of Europe was decimated. that full-blown war or nuclear war is not going to happen anymore, because that is not the purpose of the powerful people. Whatever is presently going on in India, between India and Pakistan, is called skirmish, which I have just now spoken of. Skirmish is throwing pelting stones on your neighbors just to keep him engaged. It is not the army that you send and a full-blown war happens. No, they are disturbing each other to keep their attention engrossed, one, and make the economy weaker. Who is getting benefited into this? Neither India wants to get into this, you have just now noticed, nor China is willing, simply providing some lip services to come into or step into this war, nor even US is coming forward to meddle with it. So everybody is simply watching, because it's a show which is going on. If you are playing a show, if you are playing kind of cinema, of course everyone will come and sit on the front row and watch it. So they are simply enjoying a show. What is the purpose of the show? Focus on this. Purpose 1, politicians. Politicians' brand image is being made. Into this, politicians want to make their image so big that they will, with the help of the image, will keep winning the elections. That is their only target. They want to remain into the power by winning the election. Brand image is therefore very important. That is real purpose of this skirmish. 2, black money, of course. If you notice, the general of Pakistan, he has become enormously rich. What do you think? America came literally forward within 5 kilometers of military headquarters and killed Osama bin Laden and took his body away. Is it possible? You have a military base which is like lion's den, and you come, pick the man and go away. Is it so easy? If you notice, you will realize immediately after bin Laden's death, 2 or 3 Pakistan generals became so rich that they bought even islands, one single island at an enormous cost. Why? Because America pumped money into the pockets of 2 or 3 generals, ISI chief, who became powerful, made their military establishments keep low, and exposed bin Laden. As long as bin Laden was giving them money, they were allowing him the shelter. As soon as America pumped double or triple the money into the pocket of ISI chief, he just allowed them to take and kill bin Laden. Now this war is fought because of this, because black money is being pumped into the pocket of Pakistani generals. Common people die, they become powerful. That is reason number 2. Reason number 3, to take the attention away from the real problem. Every country has got a real problem. Economy is going down, inflation is rising up, and common people are suffering due to unemployment. See, if you keep them engrossed within themselves, there would be loss of image and you will lose the election. So how to avoid it? Use decoy. What is decoy? Diversion. Create something that immediately people will come together and look at the war, and they will be engrossed into war. As a result, brand image will go up. Of course, if there is an election, they will forget their own pain and they will vote for you. That is reason number 3. If you carefully look at it, you will notice America fought war, real war, in 1971 Vietnam War. Then they fought war in around 80s in Afghanistan, which was actually USSR, erstwhile now Russia versus America fight. After that, for the last 20-30 years, there has been no real fight in the sense. It is simply a cinema or a show going on. Everyone comes together, like Israel, Gaza and all that. Everyone comes together to sell the weapon. People are getting richer. The politicians are getting the kickback, which is money, actually, commission of money. Because if you sell weapon, your return on investment is tremendous. Your profit is huge. So that's how the whole business happens worldwide. So be sure it is not going to be a full-blown war ultimately. If you have seen this so long, I'm sure you are going to like it and share it among your friends. Don't forget to subscribe the channel. Make your comment if you want to say something otherwise. I'll of course see them and reply them. Goodbye for now.